Recently, the Palm Springs Kiwanis Club had another great speaker. Let's listen in.
I'm Bill Feingold, and the show's name is The Bill Feingold Show, featuring Kevin Holmes. So I think that the best way, Jack, you listen, so I appreciate it, and Myra, we're friends on Facebook. So I think the best thing to do is to just tell you how I got here, because I never wanted to be on radio. And now I'm doing it 9 years, which is, in local radio, that's unheard of. It's amazing. Usually 6 months and you're fired. I'm from New York. I was born in Brooklyn. Like all the good people, we moved to Long Island right away. Brooklyn? Yeah, Brooklyn. That's right. Yeah. Flatbush, near Ebbets Field. Yeah. Okay. I grew up on Long Island, graduated from Hofstra, and all I ever wanted to be was a stockbroker. That was my heroin. I got hooked on watching the stock market. So after about 2 years of trying, I got hired. And I was a stockbroker for 17 years, both in New York City, and then I moved to LA. When I moved to LA, we had the big earthquake in 2 days. The stock market crashed, and my mother called up and said, "Omens, come home." But no, I stayed in LA, and I worked the stock market for another year, and then all of a sudden I quit. When you handle people's money, I mean, they'll sell you their firstborn, for a tip. So it's frightening. So I was living in LA at the Burton Plaza, where I'd always lived in LA. It's right near Doheny, near the Four Seasons Hotel. And I was really ready to move back to New York. I never liked LA. It's not my kind of city. And I'm out by the pool one day, and the owner of the building came over and said, "The managers are leaving. Do you want to manage the building?" And I said, "Well, I'm Jewish. I can't fix anything." We don't handle electricity. We don't handle tools. He said, but it was 2 buildings. It was about 80 units. And a lot of senior citizens, mostly Jewish, and he said to me, "But everybody likes you." He said, "You'll figure this all out." I said, "Well, the people that run the building now don't do anything." I said, "So I'll do something." So they hired me for 6 months, and 7 years later, I was still there. And there's nothing like calling. Well, first I called my parents when I quit the stock market, and they were on an extension phone, and my father said, "What are you going to do?" I said, "I'm going into stand-up comedy." And click. And if you know the Jewish religion, they sat shiva for like a week. The mirrors were covered. It was like, how are they going to tell their friends? Then when I called up, I said, "You know what? I'm going to be the manager of the building. I'm going to be like the super." So my mother thought I'm going to be walking around with a tool belt and fixing things. But anyway, it was a great 7 years. I upgraded the building. We had a waiting list. Because if I didn't like you weren't getting the apartment. That's between us. There are ways to not make the apartment so attractive. The problem was we had an assistant manager on the weekends. So I was off on the weekends. I'd go out to the pool, and Mrs. Schwartz would walk over and say, "I don't want to bother you, but my toilet is hissing." I said, "Ask the assistant manager, he'll fix it. We don't like him." And that would bother me all weekend. Thus, Bill Feingold takes himself out to Palm Springs and says, "I need to find a place to get away on weekends." So I figured I'd move here for weekends, and I bought my weekend condo right near City Hall. And that was my weekend condo. I'm in it now 17 years. Yeah. And it has to be redone. I said to a friend of mine, I said, "It looks like an old Jewish man lives here." And he says, "He does." So I didn't know what I was going to do out here. But after a couple of weeks, I fell in love with Palm Springs. And every time I had to drive back to LA, I kept, why am I doing this? So one day, after about, 3 months, I called the owner of the building and I said, "You got my 2 weeks' notice. I'm moving to Palm Springs." And I did. But then I didn't know what to do. One night on Channel 17, I'm watching the city council meeting. And I thought, very interesting. So for about 2 years, I went to almost every meeting. I was hooked. And then one day I said, I can do that. I understand how the government runs, and no offense, but some of the people on the council are a little stupid. So in 2003, nobody knows me, I run for city council. And I think there were 10 of us. And I came in 4th, and I spent the least amount of money. But a famous name, Steve Pugnier, beat me. Yeah, our wonderful former mayor is a crook. And Ginny Folk beat me. That close, you know. I got the name Bulldog because, excuse me, my allergies are killing me. I want the drought to come back. I got the name Bulldog because we had, at the Camelot Theater one night, there were 10 of us on the dais, and someone, you know, we were all being questioned, somebody answered a question, and they came to me and I said, well, he's wrong. He's all wrong about the budget. That's not what we're... And the guy said, what do you know? You just moved here. So I proved that he was wrong. So someone in the audience yelled out, you're a real bulldog. So that was it. So I sent an application to be on a commission, and I don't hear anything. Nobody answered, nobody calls, nothing. So I called the mayor. Mayor Kleindienst was the mayor. And I said, nobody calls me. Well, what kind of... First of all, I was shocked that he called me. He called me back. So I filled out another application, and they put me on the Human Rights Commission. And at the first meeting, they elect me the assistant chair, whatever. There's a chairman and then the assistant chair. The second meeting, I have no idea what I'm doing. The second meeting, the chairman says, I'm moving to Seattle. You're the chairman. And he hands me the gavel. And I did a good job for 3 years. Excuse me. In the afternoon on K News, there was a show, Marshall Stone and Marshall Gilbert and Gary Stone. They would do nothing but make fun of the Human Rights Commission. So I had never been on radio, and I called them up one day and I said, I want to come on your show. And I came on their show and they ripped me apart. I mean, I was like, I saw the microphone, I couldn't talk. But as I kept going back, I would answer them back in a funny way, a nice way. They started liking me. And their big mistake, this is between all of us, one of them would call in sick a lot at the last minute. And the station would call me and say, do you want to fill in for Gary? Do you want to fill in for Marshall? And I thought, okay, you know. And I wasn't good, but I did it. One day, the program manager comes up to me and says, we want to give you a show. And for about 2.5, 3 years, I said, I don't want a show. With this voice, you know, with a nasal New York accent, I said, no, I don't want a radio show. Finally, I said, okay, let's try it out. So on a Saturday, I had a 1-hour show. I prepared all week. I was going to be the Walter Cronkite of Palm Springs. It was going to be a serious news show. I had a stack of paper up to here. Story, you know, from every state, Ohio and Iowa. I got through it in about 5 minutes. From nerves. Kevin, my co-host, was the board op. And I said to him during one of the breaks, I said, you have to talk to me. I'm not talking. Gary Stone was sitting with me. You know Gary Stone probably does. And he wouldn't talk. So I talked a little bit. So I figured, this is really bad. Second week got better. Kevin talked a little. The third week I said, I have to be funny. So we started incorporating being funny and making fun of people and ourselves and telling us, and the ratings started to go up. So they came to me after about 3 months and they said, instead of 1 hour on Saturday, we want you 1 hour Monday through Friday. And I think it was 7 to 8 at night. You're still not getting paid. You know, oh, you're not getting paid. If my mother were alive, she would be calling up saying, did they pay you yet? So, and through that 1 hour, it was like spring training in baseball. We really learned how to do radio. Kevin and I became best friends. We're like brothers. And we talked about it on the air. I mean, I would walk out and say, I can't believe I said that. My sister lives in L.A. and she said, how could you tell that story? I said, why not? You know, we tell the truth. Then they came to me and said, we'd like you to do 7 to 10 at night. And I panicked. I can't do 3 hours on the radio. And they said, oh, no, you can do 3 hours. So we structured a show where we give you the news, we give you a Hollywood gossip, and then that show took off. Then Genius Me says, we don't have a good morning show. And I'm tired of working at night. I'd like to go out with my friends. Can we go in the morning? And they sit and they think, and they go, absolutely, 6 to 9 in the morning. Well, we start the morning show. It takes me 3 hours to get it ready. So I go to work between 2 and 3 in the morning. So there is no social life at night. Well, the last night we were out because we had a company thing. So that's why you hear this voice. I got to sleep at 10 o'clock last night. And I was up at 1:30. And our show is, how would I describe? Dennis, we give you the news that you have to hear. We stay away as much as possible from politics. I mean, my best friend is a CNN talking head for Trump. We don't talk politics, okay? After me is Rush Limbaugh, Sean Hannity, Hot Talk with Rich and Paul, and Mark Levin, who's crazy and sugar. And so I don't need that. So what we try to do is give you some news. We have Above the Fold, where we go and we look across the country or to Europe and find funny stories or serious stories from other places, so you know what's going on. We do This Day in History. Like today is the day Martin Luther King got killed, I think 49 years ago. And we do fun things. Usually we leave you laughing. But we talk about ourselves. It's amazing. We talk about what'd you do last night. It's sort of like Regis and Kathy used to be. And then it's Good Morning America and the Today Show, and we mush it all together. And the fun thing is, as Dennis was pointing out, Kevin is 47, I'm 67. Kevin knows nothing. When I met Kevin, I mean, God bless, he never voted. That's changed. He grew up in a house that nobody read a newspaper. And he doesn't know anybody before Britney Spears. But I'm educating him. So while I tell him what's going on in the world, you all hear what's going on in the world. And the nicest thing is it's become celebrity-driven. We had Lucy Arnaz on today, who's terrific. We have everybody. And we found out that the celebrity PR people, when the celebrity's coming out here, we're the number one choice by all the PR people. Above television, right? They say, if you're only going to do one show, do Bill Feingold show. And that's great, and I've learned to be a decent interviewer, I think. I do the Q&As, what was Cinema's Palm Door, now it's Tri-Stone. And this little show has opened up doors to me that I never expected. I also never expected strangers in supermarkets to come up to me and say, was your mother that cheap? You didn't have top sheets? I mean, everybody knows the stories. And everybody knows my dog, Clinton. So that's our show. We want to entertain, but I don't want you to think, we're stupid. And I read everything. I mean, even when I get home, I'm on the computer reading everything. At work, we used to be Morris Media, which was a newspaper company. And I thought, boy, these people are great. They leave you alone. Nobody knows. They didn't know about radio. Now we're by Alpha Media, about a year and a half. Alpha Media is the third biggest radio company in the country. But when they came in, wow, did I learn more about radio. And they've been great to us. Our show is sold out. I mean, the advertisers are happy. And that's it. I'm here to answer questions. And why aren't you people listening to 94.3? It's 6 o'clock in the morning. Here's the thing. 6 o'clock in the morning. Plus, you can listen on your computer all day. You can get on your phone. We have something called On Demand. You go to our website, and they keep all the shows. And we have the highest percentage of people listening to our show.
What's your listener demographic?
It goes from, our youngest listener is 8. And it goes probably into the 90s. But Kevin and I are both openly gay. We don't make a big deal about it. We just talk about our life. Lots of women. Lots of women listen to us when they're taking the kids to school. And we get lots of security guards who are sitting in their booth, with the radio on. And, we get a little bit of everything.
And how large is your audience?
Okay, when we started, I think in the mornings when we started 2.5 years ago, we had maybe 2,000 people a week. And they came to me and said, if you can get 9,000, we'd be thrilled. We're close to 30,000 a week.
Wow.
Yeah, and that doesn't count the people, the snowbirds, when they leave. They listen. We get a letter from France. We get emails saying, I'm on the beach listening to you, and I miss you guys. And it's really very gratifying. Hard work pays off. But I didn't know, I never knew I'd be on the radio for 9 years. The hardest part is entertaining people, keeping people interested for 3 hours. And the fun thing is, with our show, which we're very lucky, when they do these surveys, the Nielsen company does surveys, in radio they say people switch the station every 10 minutes. And you don't want them to. And we have people that listen the whole 3 hours.
Wow.
Which is a large percentage. And because a lot of people are retired, when we were on at night, we do a lot of remotes at night. the husband and wife would come over, and the wife would come over, and she'd listen, and the husband would say, she doesn't come to bed till after 10 o'clock because of you people. I said, well, the nicest thing that ever happened. Well, Lucy Arnaz today, I love. We've become friends. Suzanne Summers is great, who lives out here. Larry King called. Larry King, about 2 years ago, was doing a show at the McCallum. And he called in from LA like 2 days before, because we sell a lot of tickets. The people that listen to our show go out, they do things. And we had a great time, and I said to Larry King, I hear you just opened up a bagel place on Beverly Boulevard. You took over Kookaroo Chicken. He said, how do you know that? I said, because I used to like Kookaroo Chicken a lot. Now you made it a bagel. I said, are your bagels any good? And Larry King says to me, meet me at the McCallum Friday night, and I'll give you my bagels. So I go to the McCallum Friday night, and Mitch Gershenfeld, who runs the McCallum, meets me, and he goes, Larry King was waiting for you. So I said, well, how many people are back there? He goes, nobody. So I go back there, and there's Larry King, who, while you're talking to him, he shrinks. He's very little. And Larry King hands me 24 bagels, in a box. And then we talked for like 40 minutes. At the end, he said, I don't remember hearing you in New York, but you're good. And I said, well, I never did. I don't know what I'm doing. Larry King was really nice, and we still talk. Regis Philbin was great. Regis Philbin was on our show by phone from New York. And the next day, we were on the air in the morning, and he was talking about us when he was on the TV show. And the phones went crazy in our studio. He was like, Regis Philbin's talking about you and Kevin. No, I love being on local radio. I mean, there's a chance they might put us in a few more markets, but I said, everybody, we talk about Palm Springs mostly because Palm Springs is the name, but people in Iowa know where Palm Springs is. They don't mind hearing about, that the old mayor was a crook and he's going to go to jail. But it keeps me very busy. I say I'm the poor man Patrick Evans. You know Patrick Evans, the weather guy? He does all these events. If a charity event calls me, I said, so what, Patrick was busy? Because Patrick Evans reads the script. They know when they give me the script, something terrible could happen. But it's fun. No, listen, I'm having a ball. I don't miss not sleeping. When I'm dead, I'll sleep. And that's a lot of work. And the worst thing is we get off the air at 9 o'clock, and I have some friends, and my cell phone goes off at 9:10. And I have to say, I don't want to talk. Hello? I just talked for 3 hours. Can we have like a 2-hour rest period? But I love doing things like this. It tells you people about the show, because they don't advertise the show. You don't see billboards or anything. It's all word of mouth, and it's been terrific. And people like celebrities on the show. They want to know Suzanne Summers I'm hiding my Diet Coke underneath the desk so she doesn't yell at me. But last night, I'll end with it. We're having a competition. Go on KNewsRadio.com. It's called Dinner with Bill Feingold and Friends. And last night we had it at Perch, which is a very high-end, terrific store in Rancho Mirage. And we have the executive chef from the Hard Rock. And the wine company we were having 4 dinners. This was number 2. They sent 4 cases of wine. Last night we finished the 4th. Wow. And it was all soap opera stars that have come on the show and stuff. And it was great. I mean, it was just a big party. And that's what we try and bring you every morning. Sometimes it's harder than others. And, but it's a show that my politics won't get you upset. So I thank you for asking me. And yes, the door is always open for you, Dennis. You're a good guy.
Thank you.
Okay?
For more, go to KIWANISPalmSprings.org.